Yaga. I think I spoke about lust before on the channel. I've spoken about SR, I've spoken about celibacy, but I want to touch on it again. Reason being, there's been a few SR videos popping up on my timeline on my explore pages, which I do actually enjoy watching some of that content. I think a lot of it is quite enjoyable, informative and valuable to watch. So from the perspective of someone who has the oil, and if it's a woman, it would be a celibacy journey. Also for a man, but for a man, it's because it's SR, because you're not leaking your seed, your life force energy, your chi. That's why it's called SR. So if you were to start an SR journey, they call it streaks. In this modern time, in modern dating culture, also because of the female liberation, contraceptive, social media, etc., etc. Literally, you need to just hold your seed for 4 days, maybe 5. It could be less. And after that 4 days, you're already ahead of a very large portion of people in this modern time. Let me let that sink in. Let me repeat that again. As a man, all you need to do is hold your seed for maybe 4 days, 5 days, and you'll be ahead of the majority people. You know, one day I might start an SR channel, but this isn't an SR channel, so I'm talking more from a spiritual perspective. So for me, I'm not here to be talking about, after 7 days you get this, after 30 days you get that. But it is in stages, as in the longer you go, the higher up the ladder you go, the higher up the stage you go. And from my perspective, what tends to happen is your downloads, your messages, they become clearer. So you can get the phone call, the incoming call, and a lot of the times the call comes and you just miss it because you're distracted, because you're leaking your energy. So you're not at that bandwidth. So imagine you want to compare it to a radio station, and you tune into certain frequencies. When you're holding on to your seed and you're not leaking everywhere, and you're trying to stay away from the sites, you become more childlike, become more of a pure soul. Your frequency, you pick up more, your bandwidth stretches, so you become more sensitive to things around you. A bird will land on a twig right next to you, you will spot it. A squirrel will be eating something a few feet away from you. You will notice the very small changes in the physical world, but you also become highly sensitive in the spiritual world. So we can compare this to before social media, or in places in the world where they don't have widespread internet. Even like my village in Africa, the people there are, let's just say men there, but it goes with women too. They are a lot more athletic in build. And what it is a part of it is, anyway, they're not watching the sites. They're not leaking as much as we are in the so-called developed Western world. So they're able to use all of their life force energies, their nutrients, to develop themselves. This is the thing about being chosen. A lot of us could be addicts, sex addicts, adult film workers, addicted to the sites. A lot of us will not know leaking left and right, and a lot of that is to do with our sensitivity, which should be used as a creative energy, should be used as a healing energy. Sexual energy can be linked to creativity, but you need to learn to transmute it. You need to learn to use it for a source of good. You need to learn to use it for a positive outcome. And you need to sometimes realize that, yeah, we're not human, we're all human, and we're all flawed, and we make mistakes, and sometimes we fall short, and the flesh does overcome us. However, we've got a greater purpose, so we cannot behave like a neurotypical, as a normal, as a narcopath. Visiting the sites, defining ourselves, which I've struggled with this in the past and still working on this. It opens up a lot of portals. And those portals can allow things to pass that we don't want to pass through. So for us being chosen, we need to try to not fornicate, unless you're married or you're in a long-term relationship with someone that you realize you both have the right intentions. Nobody's spreading sexual transmitted demons. Nobody's spreading their childhood trauma for you to download. Hello. Just an elderly man that I see. So holding on to your life force is something that's quite important for chosen people. It is a supercharger to the gifts you already have, via giving you more energy to be able to bring those visions into fruition. So if you want to build a business, you have ideas. If you want to work in the gym and build your body, you have ideas. So I will touch on this topic again. I think it's quite an interesting topic. I think carrying out your journey in a way which is of a traditional sense, and vetting the people that you have sex with or people who you sleep with should be something that you have to really take care of. And I'm not saying this like I'm holier than thou. I've made mistakes, will probably make mistakes again. Saying that we want to be on the lifestyle of trying to preserve our purity, keeping the line open for when those downloads come, when those messages come, when those signals come, we'll be able to see them, and we can keep our frequency, our energies high, and we can put those things into ourselves to build what we want with our gifts and to heal those around us. With that said, we can move forward in a positive way.